Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatang Vitam Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitangscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin iti namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So welcome everyone back to our Saturday Sanga. And oh, I see also Vrindapati has found his way to our little corner. Welcome. Hare Krishna. And yes, today we're going to have our usual routine in the beginning, singing this next song of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura from his Bhajana Lalasa, song number 6 already. And then, and then we'll see if anyone has done their homework. I proposed a little writing task. Now I'm really curious. I know that Bhakti Olga has done it because she just sent me a translation. So we're happy for that. And well, maybe, yeah, I'm curious now. If you can raise your hands, just if you've written something for this. I'm just curious anyone. The dialogue, we asked you to write a short dialogue about something in relation to churning the ocean of milk. Deva Shiradik has written something, very good, and Olga, and didn't see on the next screen. Yes, Olga. And anyway, we'll see if any others. Not a very good average. Everyone thought it was a good idea, but oh, Sita Rani has done something. She's raised her hand.
Avaduta das. My obeisance.
Avaduta Rai has written. Okay. All right. So let's sing and discuss. Let's start with the translation this time. This is Bhajana Lalasa, song number 6 of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura. Mud and foam are seen in the waters of the Ganges, for that is the inherent nature of river water. Yet Ganges water never loses its transcendental nature. Second verse, one may likewise find defects in the body of a Vaisnava, yet his body is always spiritual, never material. That person who criticizes the body of a Vaisnava falls into deadly irreligion. For such an offense, the third verse, for such an offense, the fallen soul continuously suffers the tortures of Yamaraj, Lord of Death. O youthful son of Nanda, I pray that I not be destroyed by committing such an offense. Fourth verse, the Vaishnava is yours and he is your glory. May he be merciful to me. Then my life's journey will lead to you, and I will obtain shelter in the shade of your lotus feet. And of course, this song is following verse number 6 of the Nectar of Instruction. So we can talk about that after singing. Our harmonium is showing more signs of old age, even though it doesn't get very much use at all. So Hari Hari nīra-dharma-gata jāhnavī-salile paņka-phena drishta hoya nīra-dharma-gata jāhnavī-salile paņka-phena drishta hoya tathāpi kakhona brahma-drava-dharma salila na chād hoya tathāpi kakhona brahma-drava-dharma salila na chād hoya Vaisnava-śarīra aprākr sadā swabhāva-vapura dharme Vaisnava-śarīra aprākr sadā swabhāva-vapura dharme kabhu nāhe tathāpi ninde se amādharme kabhu nāhe tathāpi ninde se amādharme se aprākr jamera jatana paya jiva abhirata se aparadhe jamera jatana paya jiva abhirata he nanda nandana se aparadhe jeno nahi hoy ata he nanda nandana se aparadhe jeno nahi hoy ata tomara Vaisnava vaibhava tomara amare karuna doya tomara Vaisnava vaibhava tomara amare karuna doya tabe mora gati habe tava prati pabotava bhadachaya tabe mora gati habe tava prati pabotava bhadachaya Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Gora Hari Bol, Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari He nīra-dharma-gata jāhnavī-salile paņka-phena drishtahoy. Paņka-phena, mud and foam, are seen, drishtahoy, in the waters of the Ganges. Jāhnavī-salile. For that is the inherent nature of river water, nīra-dharma-gata. Tathāpi kakhona brahma-drava-dharma. Flowing Brahma. The dharma of flowing Brahman. I think that's what it's saying. tathāpi kakhona, when, kakhona is when, I believe the question word, still, when, se salila na chād, yet water never loses its transcendental nature, brahma-drava-dharma. Se salila na chād, never loses. But it looks like it's in the form of a rhetorical question. Kokon. Takon, takon, kokon. Okay. Vaisnava-śarīra aprākr sadā swabhāva-vapura dharme. One may likewise find defects in the body of a Vaisnava, Vaisnava-śarīra, the body of a Vaisnava, aprākr sadā, which is always non-material, swabhāva-vapura dharme, in the dharma of his, the body of its own nature. Kabhu nāhe jada. However, it is never jada. Jada means dull, can mean dead or lifeless, or it can just mean mundane. Kabhu nāhe jada, tathāpi ninde. Ninde means aparād, means offense. Tathāpi criticizes. Ninde can also mean criticism. The body of a Vaishnava. Pode she visham adharme. Vishama adharme. He falls, pode, let's see, he falls into deadly irreligion. Visham adharme. Se aparādhe jamer jatana paya jiva avirata. For such an offense, se aparādhe, for this offense, the fallen soul continuously suffers the tortures of Yamaraj. Continuously, I think here would be avirata. Paya obtains or receives jiva. So the jiva receives avirata jatana of Yamaraj, the tortures of Yamaraj. He nanda nandana she aparādhe jeno nahi hoy hoto. O youthful son of Nanda, I pray that I not be destroyed by committing such an offense. Jeno, such, nahi hoy hoto, will not be struck, I guess, will not happen by me. Se aparādhe. Tomar Vaishnav Vaibhav Tomar Amare Karuna Doya. The Vaishnava is yours, Vaishnava Tomar, and he is your glory, Tomar Vaibhava. Vaibhava's glory. May he be merciful to me, Amare Karuna Doya. Then my life's journey will lead to you. Tabe more gati, the journey, the way, gati. Hobe tava proti. hobe, the apostrophe is substituting for I, so it would be hoibe, hobe, hoibe, tava prati, prati, or prati,
Hare Krishna devotees, seems that Guru Maharaj is no. Guru Maharaj is not having a good internet connection, so we're trying to sort it out. Just please be patient.
Maybe Bhaktivinoda Thakur didn't like how I was representing his song. Yeah, I was about to say that last week we had this song of essentially representing the fifth verse of Nectar of Instruction, which was giving the three ways of relating with Vaishnavas according to their advancement. And now Srila Rupa Goswami is describing, is essentially giving a warning that we should not consider Vaishnavas in any material way. Dishtai swabhāva-janitair, vapusascha doshair, na prakritattvamiha bhakta-janasya pashet. Gangamba sang, na kalubudbudapena pankaya brahma-drava-dharma avagacchati nīra-dharma. His translation is, just the translation is quite long. Being situated in his original Krishna conscious position, a pure devotee does not identify with the body. Such a devotee should not be seen from a materialistic point of view. Indeed, one should overlook a devotee's having a body born in a low family, a body with a bad complexion, a deformed body, or a diseased or infirm body. According to ordinary vision, such imperfections may seem prominent in the body of a pure devotee. But despite such seeming defects, the body of a pure devotee cannot be polluted. It is exactly like the waters of the Ganges, which sometimes are full of bubbles, foam, and mud. The Ganges waters do not become polluted. Those who are advanced in spiritual understanding will bathe in the Ganges without considering the condition of the water. Well, that in itself is an interesting topic of discussion, considering, well, I'm tempted to wonder what would Srila Rupa Goswami say about the present condition of the Ganga and the Yamuna with so much chemical contamination and so on. But okay, I won't go there now. The general principle is there of disregarding apparent defects. But what Bhaktivinoda Thakur is adding to this warning is his own expression of hope. In the last line, well, in the third line first, he's kind of adding how bad it can be if we have this mentality with respect to Vaishnavas' appearance or whatever kinds of defects we may perceive. For such an offense, the fallen soul continuously suffers the tortures of Yamaraj. And then Bhaktivinoda Thakur makes his prayer. He's, after all of these prayers are Bhajana Lalasa. He's expressing longing for positive engagement in service. And so he says, "O youthful son of Nanda, I pray that I did not be destroyed by committing such offense." And then the anticipation, the positive anticipation, the hope in the fourth verse. The Vaishnava is yours, and he is your glory. May he be merciful to me. Then my life's journey will lead to you, and I will obtain shelter in the shade of your lotus feet. So turning the attention to the Vaishnava who one might otherwise be offending by an offensive mentality, turning to that Vaishnava and anticipating that he or she may be merciful to oneself. And from that mercy to oneself, one's life's journey, tabe mora gati. Habet tava prati, pabo tava padachaya. I may, my life's journey may lead to you, and I will obtain shelter in the shade of your lotus feet. Pabo, I will. So there's hope and there's expectation, and it all comes in this context from avoiding some offensive mentality. Drishta, seeing with ordinary vision. So, of course, we can say spiritual life is about learning to see with spiritual eyes. And we can say that learning to see with spiritual eyes, we are learning to see from the perspective of Krishna. But how can we possibly see through the perspective of Krishna, who sees everything and we only see with utter limitation? So we learn to see with the eyes of Shastra, Shastra Chakshu, which is an interesting analogy because we don't usually think of books as having eyes. But we are learning to see with the eyes of Shastra, which we are seeing with our eyes by reading, but also we are hearing. And as we read, we also want to hear. There's a, as we read, of course, it's good to read aloud, to read Shastra aloud. I was reading an article by one scholar, I don't know if I mentioned this before, writing about Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and his writing, and how there was a major, kind of a revolution happened in Bengal and all over India in the 19th century with the introduction of the printing press. And prior to the printing press, as would have been the case in Europe, but more in earlier centuries, nobody was reading except very few who could read, and those who could read, they would read aloud for others, and everyone else would listen. So in India, 19th century, printing press came in early 19th century. 1818, I think, is one date that's marked when various things were getting printed. Bhaktivinoda Thakura begins writing in the second half of the 19th century, and he starts also publishing. He gets a copy of Chaitanya-caritamrita, a printed copy, apparently in 1868. There were several publishers printing the Chaitanya-caritamrita between 1845 and 1870. According to one scholar, they found 9 different editions of Chaitanya-caritamrita. But we probably I don't know, maybe because it rained here. Anyway, that was another sign for me to stop talking and to listen to you. Who wants to read your dialogue? Let's see. Is Avadutta Rai there?
Hare Krishna, I am here.
You want to?
Yeah, possible.
Go ahead.
There is a small introduction and the final paragraph to this conversation. I hope I will pronounce every word nicely. The following conversation is between the demons and the demigods quarreling who will take the head and who will take the tail of Vasuki. To turn around the churning rod, Vishnu requested the great snake Vasuki to be the churning rope. He also allocated the demons to take Vasuki's tail and the demigods to take its head. However, the demons were not satisfied by this arrangement. Demon 1, wait a minute, what is this? We should take the tail. This is so humiliating. The best part of the body is the head. And so, because we are stronger and better than the demigods, we have right to make our choice. Bali Maharaj, yes, you are right, my friend. Indra, but my dear demons, Lord Vishnu is the most intelligent Supreme Personality of Godhead. He certainly has some good reason why did he made this arrangement. Demon 2. We don't like Vishnu and his decisions. And don't forget, although he's protecting you, this time we came out victorious. So actually his protection and intelligence are not so great. We heard from reliable sources that Vishnu himself is hiding from us in the hearts of his devotees. We demons are very powerful, very intelligent, and our glory will increase day by day. Indra, oh, where did you learn this Bhagavad Gita verse? Demon 2, what Bhagavad Gita? I am quoting from Asura Mohangita. To pacify the demons, Indra said, you demons and we demigods are actually brothers, and we certainly don't want you to be agitated and dissatisfied. Your happiness is actually our happiness. So I think that it is a very good idea that you take the head of Vasuki and we will take the tail. Final paragraph. While churning the ocean, suddenly from the eyes and the thousands of mouths of Vasuki, smoke and blazing fire started to disturb not only the demons, but also the demigods. And so again, by the grace of the Supreme Lord, clouds appeared pouring torrents of rain, which gave relief to everybody. Hare Krishna.
Adi, Adi, bol. Nice. Okay, good. Who else? Kaveri.
Hare Krishna, Gurudev, Hare Krishna, everybody.
Haribol.
I'm going to share the script for those who may like to read it. Okay, here. One second. There is. So I'm going to send them. We're going to act the dialogue. We're going to act the dialogue.
Oh, okay.
Wait a minute here. And
This is, you have to introduce your.
This
your
is, well,
partner.
today this is my colleague, co-worker, Bhajana, and I'm going to be Rahul.
Okay.
And, oh, this is for you. And just a bit of introduction. We are from the IT department at Nectar Ocean Inc.
Okay.
It's a company, and we just work in the IT department. Okay. Hey, man, what's all the fuss in the office this morning?
Didn't you hear? Ms. Mohini's going to be in the office today.
Wait, the Miss Mohini? President of the company, Miss Mohini?
The one and only.
Oh my God,
She's
I
so
love
great.
her.
I love her. Anyway, she called in all the regional managers in the office, and she's going to give them a special bonus.
Oh man, I know she's way at the top, but I kind of feel that she really cares about us. You know what I mean? Like for real.
Same.
So are we getting a bonus too?
Eventually, I guess, maybe, I don't know.
Wait a minute. She doesn't know all of them, does she?
She definitely knows the guy from New York.
Okay.
Maybe the guy from Boston, but that's probably it.
Right? And they don't know each other, which means I could sneak in and get a bonus myself.
Rahu, are you nuts? First of all, we're IT nerds. Look at us. We don't look like managers. Second of all, I would rather die than make Ms. Mohini, the love of my life, upset.
No, I get it. I get it. It's risky, but not impossible. Look, I'm pretty sure I can find something to wear from Lost and Found. And seriously, what are they going to do? Chop my head off? Come on.
Ms. Mohini, never.
Besides, we're IT. They need us. We deserve that bonus too. All these managers are always taking all the credit for our work. Like that guy, Surya.
Surya, he's the worst.
Yeah, I hate him. He thinks he's so bright.
I hate Surya. He's the.
Okay, I better get ready. You? Ta-da! That's the end.
Very good. I think that could be developed into something more. Yeah, you've got talent.
Thank you so much. And
Thank you, Maharaj.
Bhakti Krishna. He's the real IT, not demon in the office.
Nice, nice. Very good, very good. Thank you. Okay, yeah, that's fun. All right. Devashri Radhika, you wrote something?
Yes, Maharaj, I did, but it's rather boring because I think I forgot the dramatic part. It's just a dialogue and a lot of copy pasting, but I could read it, yes. So this piece is titled "The Hearts of the Demons Churned." So the churning does not only happen of the ocean, but the hearts of the demons are also transformed. And what I did is I did read through different parts of this pastime, and I used a lot of the text verbatim. And also I went to different parts of the Bhagavatam and kind of formed a prayer from the demons. So the introduction states, Lord Kshirodakshaya Vishnu was pleased with the demigods, and thus he appeared before them. The demigods, blinded by his transcendental effulgence, were blinded by his transcendental effulgence. At first, they could not even see him. After some time, however, Brahma could see the Lord, and along with Shiva, he began to offer prayers. Now Brahma said, O Lord, although you are never born, your appearance and disappearance and incarnations never cease. You are free from all material qualities, and you are the shelter of transcendental bliss. You are the supreme subtle of the extremely subtle. My Lord, the various demigods, the directors of this universe, have come here at your lotus feet. Please fulfill the purpose for which we have come. You are the witness of everything within and without. Nothing is unknown to you, and therefore it is absolutely unnecessary to inform you of everything again. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, hearing these beautiful prayers from Lord Brahma, thus said, O Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and all you other demigods, please listen very carefully to what I am about to state. As long as you are not flourishing, you have to make a truce with the demons and the asuras, because this is the time when they are being favored. Please understand that with peace and patience, everything can be done, and nothing can be attained by agitation and anger. Therefore, go to the demons and ask them to agree to your proposal. And when a poison known as Kalakuta will be generated from the ocean of milk, but you should not fear it. And when various products are churned from the ocean, you should not be greedy for them or anxious to obtain them, nor should you be angry. Thereupon, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, after offering their respectful obeisances to the Lord, returned to their abodes. And then the demigods approached Maharaj Bali, who is the most celebrated king of the demons. Knowing very well that Maharaj Bali is highly intelligent and knows well when to conduct a fight and when to make peace. Maharaj Bali then forbade all his fellow demons to not kill the demigods. After pleasing Maharaj Bali with his kind words, Lord Indra, who was quite intelligent, then submitted all the proposals he had learned from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The proposals submitted by King Indra were immediately accepted by Bali Maharaj, and headed by Sambara and Arishtanemi, all the residents of Tripura joined the plan. Thus, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, appearing in his incarnation as a tortoise, dove deep in. At first, at the churning of the ocean, the poison was produced. The fish, sharks, tortoise, and snakes were very agitated and disturbed. The entire ocean became turbulent, and even the large animals like whales, water elephants, and crocodiles came to the surface. While the ocean was being churned in this way, it first produced a fiercely dangerous poison called hala. Being purified at the glance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the demigods thereupon had their hearts transformed and spoke thus. The demigods praised, "Alas, just look at us. We are so unfortunate. We approach the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who can immediately cut the chain of the repetition of birth and death. But still, out of our foolishness, we prayed for things which are perishable. Since all the demigods who are situated in these high planetary systems will have to come down again, they are all envious of our being elevated to devotional service. These intolerant demigods have dissipated our intelligence, and only for this reason we could not accept the genuine benediction from Lord Vishnu. We were under the influence of the illusory energy, being ignorant of the actual facts. We were sleeping on the lap of Maya. Thus the demons, led by Bali Maharaj, surrendered unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and instead drank the poison, not being greedy for the nectar." Yes. Thank you.
Guru Maharaj, can you please unmute yourself?
Yes, okay. Yes, thank you. Very nice. Sort of drawing from the Bhagavatam in a very direct way and focusing in that way about transforming hearts. That's nice. Thank you. Okay. Did anyone else prepare Dira Lalita?
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Unfortunately, mine is only on the way to be done, but this is from our god sister Yadavi from Poland, and her daughter translated it in English and asked me if I could read it for Yadavi.
Mm-hmm.
So I got the chance just to read it just once because it came just before our meeting. It goes like this: Surya versus demon. The conversation between Surya and demoniac warrior, and it's taking place just after the ceremony of uniting Lakshmi and Narayan. Surya: all glories to Lakshmi Narayan, all glories to Lakshmi Narayan. Hey, what are you doing here? Stop hiding behind that bush. I see you anyway. Demon: O Lord, be merciful unto me. And this auspicious moment, I wanted to give honor to the divine couple. Surya: your brothers will not approve that. See how furious they are when disregarded by Goddess Lakshmi. Demon: I don't want to come back to them. I feel that we don't have much in common. Please, my Lord, tell me if I could join the Devas. I want to be your humble servant. Surya: ha ha ha. You are a demon, and most probably their spy. Run away, or I will burn you into ashes. Demon: oh, please don't. Be merciful. I'm missing the Supreme Lord for so long already. My father was a Gandhava. Now, when I saw the lotus face of Lord Narayan, I cannot stay with demons any longer. Give me a chance, please. Surya, I saw the demonic tricks so many times, and they are like childish play for those advanced spiritually. Even if you're their spy, you will not be able to harm. I can hide you in my effulgence, and my energy will constantly control you. If you make any improper move, I will burn you. Demon, all glories to the Supreme and his devotees. Surya, what do I see? From the ocean appeared beautiful woman Varuni. Demons took possession of her, and Lord Narayan agreed to that. Maybe you want to go back to them now? Demon, no, never. Now I will be following in your lotus footsteps only.
Very nice. Conversion. Demon becomes devotee.
Yeah.
Changes sides. Okay. And Mahananda Ladini, you have something.
Hare Krishna. I have short about Durvasa and Indra dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
Durvasa says to Indra, I have a beautiful present for you, beautiful garland. But Indra, when took it, gave immediately to his elephant Airavata. How dare are you, said Durvasa. I gave to you and you didn't respect it. I wanted to share with you and you gave to others. Why didn't you respect? You are a king of heaven and people follow your example. Too much pride you have, Indra said. Oh, please forgive me. I offer respect to you, but I love my elephants and I wanted to share with him garland also, Durvasa said. Because of your selfishness and your importance duty, you didn't know to appreciate person who give up all satisfaction for others' benefit. I curse you to lose everything. We see in this story that everything we don't recognize in some daily life of activity and his own purpose to show always who is the God. It's interesting, very, very interesting what's happening with Durvasa and Indra. That is short for me, Guru Maharaj.
Okay, nice. Yeah, a sort of alternative elaboration on what happens. I'm just okay. I will read briefly Bhaktivinoda Olga's dialogue, which she sent to me. It starts like this. When the demons did not get any of the Amrita, they addressed Mohini Murti with the following words. Dear Mohini, how is this? How could you deceive us? After all, we trusted you. We believed in you. We became attached to you. And we loved you with all our hearts. Isn't it so that you, the mighty, always respond to love expressed to you? Mohini Murti says, dear demons, what you say is true. I always respond to love addressed to me. And even if your love is not pure, I accept it. The demons say, what do we do now? How can we live without you? How can we work out our karma and love you at the same time? Is there a place in the universe where this is possible? Mohini Murti says, yes, there is such a time and place. This is Kali Yuga on earth. Although I am hidden from the inhabitants of that time, you can be born there in the families of Rakshasa meat eaters, and in due course of time, learn to know about me and openly express your love to me by chanting my names. Demons, O Supreme, you are truly omnipotent, but how can we remember you being immersed in complete ignorance? Mohini says, it is indeed not easy, but the love in your heart will help you recognize my messengers, spiritual masters who are directly connected by parampara with me. Each of you will recognize your spiritual master by the same love in your heart for him as for me. Thus, you will become my devotees who are always in contact with me and under my guidance and protection. Nice. So Mohini becomes a preacher inviting demons to take birth in this age and become devotees, recognizing their gurus. Okay. Sitarani, you have something also.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Sitarani in Hong Kong.
Yes.
Do you have something you want to read?
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, and all godfathers and sisters and devotees. Yes, I wrote something, but very, very short compared to others and very, very simple. So please don't mind. Yes, it is not except a dialogue, just some thinking of Rahul. Very short, yeah. Okay. Today is my Friday and also the 30th. It is good for the demons like me to do something crazy. There is a big festival with all our demons brothers and those poor demigods brothers. But I choose to stay with those poor gods today. Why? It is because one very beautiful lady will come and distribute the immortal nectar. I don't think she will distribute to those demons brothers. So if I can take the nectar, I will be more and more strong forever. Rahul is smiling in his heart by his speculation. So he stole some clothes from one demigod and think no one can recognize him in the sight of demigods. Rahul tried to find a seat between those demigods. After a while, he feels very hot in his right hand side and very cool in his left hand side. And he just tolerates the feelings and waiting for Mohini Murti to come. Finally, Mohini Murti walked close to Rahul and he is ready to take the nectar. But once he drinks, his head is rolling on the floor and said, "Where is my body? Please help." That's all. Thank you.
Okay. Nice, thank you. Okay.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, all these sort of dialogues help us to picture these events and enter into them. Well, if you'll tolerate one more, I've written something. I was last week asking that you write something, just a dialogue that goes for 2 minutes. Mine ended up being longer than that. Yeah, maybe closer to 5 minutes, but here we go. This is a dialogue between Lord Shiva and Goddess Bhavani. Bhavani to Shiva while coughing. There's this horrible odor suddenly pervading the air. Shiva, thoughtfully, smiling mildly. Dear Devi, it is the hala poison, emerging from the vigorous churning of the milk ocean by the devas and the asuras, at the behest of our Lord and Master, the great Vishnu. Bhavani, what? They who are ever at war with each other are now cooperating? And their purpose is to produce poison? What sort of madness is that? And why did they not invite you to participate? You could surely have prevented this calamity. Shiva, Devi, let us not speak of madness, for it is happening by the Lord's will. Their purpose is to produce the nectar of immortality. The great maintainer of the universe keeps them busy in this way, so that at least for some time, they will not fight with each other. Bhavani, of course, you who are aloof as the master of yoga would have no interest in such petty things. So it is just as well that you were not invited to participate. But what of this poison? It is spreading everywhere and I'm beginning to choke. Shiva, this is another reason for my keeping aloof from the churning. I have been preparing myself to counteract this poison, knowing that sooner or later it would come, and knowing that the devas and asuras will be helpless to overcome it. Bhavani, counteract? What means counteract? Shiva, dictionary meaning, quote, to hinder or defeat by contrary action, to neutralize the action or effect of, unquote. Bhavani, this poison is choking me. And she's coughing repeatedly. And Lord Shiva says, for you and for all the world, I will neutralize this poison. It is my duty, but more than that, it gives me joy to serve in this way. Bhavani, but Prabhu, you will hurt yourself. This poison is so dangerous. Just see how animals are dying. The glaciers are melting. The seas are rising. Storms and fires and earthquakes are increasing. Shiva says, so it is. There is no time to waste. He closes his eyes and folds his hands, entering into deep meditation. He then opens the palms of his hands, cupping them together as if to drink from them. Bhavani, holding her breath, understands what Lord Shiva is about to do. She calls out to Ananta Shesha, oh, Lord Ananta, come immediately, or the cosmic devastation may happen prematurely. Ananta Shesha suddenly appears. Yes, my lady, how may I help? Bhavani, bowing and trembling, oh Lord, Just see what is about to happen. Please save my Lord and Master. Ananta Shesha, I will now shrink in size, keeping my serpent form. Take me up and wrap me around Lord Shiva's neck, pulling tight, and tie me in a knot. Bhavani, doing as instructed, then addressing Lord Shiva, my Lord, Prabhu, allow me, please. And she takes Ananta and wraps him around Shiva's neck. At the same time, Shiva drinks the poison that has flowed into his cupped palms. Bhavani is silent, holding her breath, gazing at Shiva. Shiva, his eyes still closed, a mild smile coming slowly to his lips, says, "It is done. You can breathe freely now." Bhavani, with a look of great relief, says, "Oh, Prabhu, it is done. You have done it. But your throat has turned blue as a result. Forgive me for asking, but how did the poison taste?" Shiva, his eyes now open with a big smile, says, "It tasted like nectar." Bhavani says, "Seriously?" And Shiva says, "Have you ever seen me not serious?" And Bhavani says, "Well, sometimes I'm not sure if you are serious or joking." And Shiva says, "In any case, let us seriously wish well to the devas and asuras that they may proceed to successfully gain their nectar." And finally, Bhavani says, "Let this be the last time they do something so foolish as churn cosmic poison, and let everyone be ever grateful to you for saving us all from such mischief." Hare Krishna. Okay. Yeah, I kind of threw that together yesterday. All right. Back to something more serious. Before we have our main event, our initiation, we thing. Are you here to tell us something about influenza virus pandemics?
Yes, thank you, Guru
News.
Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances.
May I first introduce you by saying that Raja Leelavati is a professor of history at University of Pula, and she did her doctoral dissertation on the subject of what came to be called the Spanish flu in the early 20th century. This was a devastating pandemic. And she is, world expert on this subject.
I will not say expert, but thank you, Guru Maharaj, for being so kind. Yes, I was inspired to tell something. You inspired me not on the last Sanga, but the Sanga before the last, when you talked about first the treatment of COVID patients in hospitals. So this is what I would like to say first, and then I will refer to the Spanish flu. When you talked about treatment of elderly patients of COVID virus in hospitals, it reminded me of a dissertation of my friend, psychologist, who wrote about biological and social factors of mental health in elderly persons. Once she told me that the research led her to conclusion that happiness in life increases with age. There are some scholarly papers that are examining and re-examining the relationship between happiness and age. And one is written by Edsel Beja from Department of Economics from Manila University. In his paper, he reconfirms that the happiness is U-shaped in the life course. That means happiness decreases from a high point of young adulthood, reaches a low point of midlife, and thereafter increases to arrive at another high point of old age. The results show that the high point of happiness in old age is a little lower than the high point of happiness in young adulthood. In his research, he used methodology of social sciences, which is multiple regression analysis. I am not familiar with that. And also he uses some data from, as he says, World Values Survey data. This is a global research project that explores people's values and beliefs. So the treatment in hospital for elderly people that you mentioned, who in their mature years relish the outcomes of maturity and achieve happiness in life almost as great as in the peak of their young adulthood, is, in my opinion, highly discriminatory. And this gave me the idea of yet another theme for my class, History, Prejudice, and Discrimination in Modern Time. And this is the second theme, Guru Maharaj, that you inspired me to add in the syllabus for the next class. First is discriminations toward animals, especially cows, and discriminations towards elderly people. The second thing, yes, I would like to share that I also think that the pandemic of COVID exists and is around us. People are dying. This is what we see with our eyes. But also I explored the Spanish flu, as you said, in Pula area in 1918, 1919. And for me, these pandemics are similar. Both pandemics, virus from both pandemics is strong, lungs are affected, people are dying, pandemic is moving in waves. So far, we saw 3 waves, and over the time, virus mutates and is getting weaker. Spanish flu was so great that in one village in Alaska, out of 80 people, 72 people died, and they were infected by just one traveler. So the Spanish flu virus was a little stronger even than the COVID virus, but that doesn't mean that the COVID is not a pandemic. In Pula, I can tell you that I've explored that 173 people died from the Spanish flu. 21 people died in hospitals out of 213 who were registered in the hospital. So 19% of the people who were in hospital with the diagnosis of the Spanish flu recovered. That means that the care which they received in the hospital was really important in surviving. Having been so much in the team researching the pandemic in the time of the end of the World War I and a few post-war months, having handwritten historical sources in the time of no internet, seeing that the pandemic was forgotten until some scientists in the second part in the 20th century wanted to explore even the borderline shameful history, I think pandemics as such do exist. This is what I wanted to share.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, not a happy subject, but it's something that's very much on all of our minds. I think it's interesting that, as you've said, the Spanish flu, after it kind of faded away, became very quickly forgotten, and there was practically no recorded history of it.
Yes.
Which means we don't learn from history that's forgotten.
Yes, historians really had to dig strange historical sources to come to the data of that pandemic, because World War I was a great theme for history.
Yeah.
And it was in the shade of the World War I. Even in World War I, we have from 10 to 16 casualties, and by the Spanish flu, we have 50 million people.
Yeah. Hare Krishna.
This is really sad theme, so.
Yeah. Thank you, Rajali Lavati. So now I think it's high time we move on to a much brighter subject. Initiation. And Bhaktin Indu has been waiting patiently, and she is there in Croatia, and her daughter Narayani is going to translate for her, I believe. Yes. And we also have, now I think this is interesting historically, speaking of history and historians, that we're having a simultaneous initiation in two different places, Croatia and Germany. So in Singachalam, we have second initiation for Divyadesha and Hare Krishna and his good wife, Madhavi Kishori. I think we can say third generation we're talking about here. And we see Ramananda Gopal is there. He's going to be doing a yagya to, as they say in American slang, seal the deal. So I want to say some words on the subject, the significance of initiation, especially for Bhakti Indu. And I want to refer to an initiation done by Srila Prabhupada in 1968 in San Francisco. But let me begin. Let's get this view back to here. Yes, let me begin again. Oma Jnana Timarandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I'm sort of looking up above the camera because I have notes up here, or that is to say I have Veda base. Maybe I'll bring them down here. Easier. Yeah, on this, we say auspicious occasion, but actually it's beyond auspicious because auspicious and inauspicious are relative terms relative to this world, whereas our event today is going beyond auspiciousness and inauspiciousness. We call it initiation. In English language, there's a term rite of passage. Whenever we make some sort of formal ritual, which is making a major change in our lives, that is a rite of passage. These are also called samskaras in Sanskrit. And the main ordinary samskara is vivaha yagya, marriage, when a young man and young woman, usually young, are married. And this, of course, is a major change in their lives, which affects themselves and affects all of those around them, and also leads to expansion into a family. But this rite of passage that we are dealing with on two levels, the first initiation and the second initiation, are in a different category. We are moving, you can say, we are affirming that we are making the beginnings of the final passage, the passage beyond material life. And we have learned that this is even possible from His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivinoda Swami, Srila Prabhupada, who came out of India, out of Vrindavan, out of India, to initially to America and then worldwide, as a messenger, giving us the message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, and I like to say of the whole Panchatattva, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, Sri Advaita Acharya, Sri Gadadhar Pandit, and Srivas Thakur. And having received his divine grace, we are continuing to share that divine grace, which is coming down, coming out, coming forth from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who, being Krishna himself, is giving us Krishna in the mood of a devotee of Krishna. Krishna, how to make this life a life of service to Lord Krishna. So I thought it's nice that we look at some things Srila Prabhupada said in one of his initiation events that he held. This is March 10th, 1968 in San Francisco. Apparently Pradyumna Prabhu, who was Prabhupada's Sanskrit editor, was present, and he would sometimes act as the priest. And Prabhupada has finished kirtan, and at the end of the kirtan, he comments, "Today's colors are very nice. Who has made it or purchased from the market?" So apparently the arrangement around the fire of the colors was very pleasing. And a devotee said, Pradyumna has done, Prabhupada says, Pradyumna is expert. Very nice colors. And then they begin with a mantra which Srila Prabhupada always liked to chant at the beginning of initiation. So we can do this together. I'm going to slightly change. Prabhupada in this manuscript says, Nama apavitra pavitro va. I'm going to take the liberty to make this Om apavitra pavitro va. Okay, here we go. Om apavitra pavitro va. Sarvavastam, you can repeat. Gato piva yasmaret pundarikakshang sa bahya abhyantara suchi Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu. And then the translation of this verse is given from the Garuda Purana, either pure or impure, or having passed through all conditions of material life. If one can remember the lotus-eyed Krishna, one becomes externally and internally clean. And then Prabhupada urged everyone to chant Hare Krishna as he repeated the mantra, and then they repeated a third time. There's no mention here of the achmana, sipping of water, which is interesting. But then Prabhupada goes on to explain the mantra. Apavitra, he says, means, the meaning. Yeah, apavitra means unclean, and pavitra means clean. So anyone who may be unclean or clean, it doesn't matter. Apavitra, pavitro va, sarvavastam gatopi va. Sarva means all, avasta means condition. In whatever condition one may be, either unclean or clean. And then he goes on to explain more words of the verse. Pundarikaksha means Krishna. Krishna's another name is Pundarika Aksha, meaning whose eyes are like lotuses. That person becomes at once purified. Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu. And then he goes on to explain initiation means purification. And he talks about how in this world is all about being impure. There is death, there is disease, there is old age, there are the pangs of birth. And we are overcome, we suffer all of these. It's like a diseased condition, Prabhupada says. And he goes on about the miseries of birth, death, disease, and old age. And then he says, the rascals, materialists, they are thinking that they're making advancement, but they have no solution for these things. The solution is by tapasya. And then he explains, tapasya means voluntarily accepting some rules and regulations to purify oneself. And then he makes a comparison, just like in diseased condition, one has to voluntarily accept the rules and regulation enforced by the physician who says, you should not eat this, you should not do this, you should not go out, you should take rest. You should not. So many. Similarly, Prabhupada says, if we want to purify ourselves, then 4 principles of purificatory process, namely illicit sex life and intoxication, meat eating and gambling, these 4 things are paraphernalia of your civilization. In the Western, he says, not only Western, Eastern, everywhere, the Kali Yuga is spreading very rapidly. And wherever the Kali Yuga is very prominent, these 4 items are very prominent. It's the 4 sinful activities. Then he goes on to say, so as you are being initiated, initiation means beginning of your purificatory process. Now, I always wondered about this because we understand we are beginning the purificatory process as we begin associating with devotees, as we begin chanting the Maha Mantra, as we begin avoiding sinful activities. And we do all of this before the formal initiation. So one way to understand this is that as soon as we accept Guru in our heart, and with that acceptance, we accept the chanting of the mantra that is given by the Guru. Actually, the Maha Mantra given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is the beginning of the process. And this, we can say, is a further step in that process, a formalization and a recognition and a solid commitment to the continuing practice and the journeying, the going back home, back to Godhead journey, which is, it is a long journey. It is a lifelong journey. And at the same time, it's a journey which we have already come to the end of by beginning the journey. As soon as we begin the journey, we are also coming to its conclusion. Prabhupada goes on to say, the fire of Krishna consciousness will keep you always progressing. But at the same time, if we also voluntarily do not pour water on that fire, then it will be nice. So here the water analogy, Prabhupada is speaking is, of course, engaging in activities which are not favorable to devotional service. The 4 sinful activities which he has mentioned, but also cultivating an offensive mentality in relation to others in general, but in relation especially to Vaishnavas who are giving themselves, however imperfectly, to the culture of Krishna Bhakti. Prabhupada goes on to say, and if you continue this water pouring, then, just like a man is taking medicine at the same time doing all nonsense, then his disease will not be cured or may take very, very long time. So we should not be irresponsible in that way. Why? Because life is very short. We do not know when death is coming, especially in these days. He says, we are moving in the street, we are moving by plane, we are moving. Every step there is danger. Padam padam yatmi padam. It is a place of danger. So he's emphasizing this. This was San Francisco, 1968, which was sort of the hotbed of the so-called hippie movement. 67, 68, this was the high point of those times. And it was these sorts of people who were joining, who were visiting the temple, the storefront, and some were becoming devotees. So Prabhupada is emphasizing these points. But here, Prabhupada says something very nice. He says, we should also take care that before the next death comes, we must be fully prepared for being transferred to Krishna Loka. And it is a very simple thing. If you keep yourself constantly in Krishna consciousness, that's the only thing. Then you are sure to be going transferred next life, simply by understanding Krishna. And then he goes on to explain about to understand Krishna. Krishna is not like us. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. How he is Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then he talks about the history of Krishna, his pastimes, his activities, his wisdom. Lecture, Bhagavad Gita, everything is there. They are the proofs. He mentions Yamuna-charya. And later he says, so there is no doubt about it. But the demons, in spite of all this, dog's obstinacy, they will not accept. So let them go to hell. And then later in the lecture, he says, to encourage us, he says, it is not very difficult. It is very easy. Always thinking of Krishna. And those who have taken already, they are thinking of Krishna. And they are making progress, both. I mean to say, their health is improving. So you will be also feeling, meaning feeling nice. There is no need of talking. You will yourself feel, but you must follow. And then he goes on to say there are 10 offenses in chanting the holy name. He doesn't elaborate, but then he proceeds with the fire yagya and the chanting of the mantras. So that was, let's see, that was one excerpt I wanted to read. Let's see if I can find the other. Yeah, this is from a letter. Let's see. Oops. Oops. All right. This is from a letter to Makhan Lal. Los Angeles, 3rd June 1970, toward the end of this lecture. I'm sorry, a letter. He says, "You are all helping me." Prabhupada is saying to this devotee and addressing all the devotees, "You are all helping me in the execution of my mission. So please do not try to do anything beyond the jurisdiction of my instructions. My will I have already disclosed to you all, that each and every one of you should chant the Mahamantra regularly in 16 rounds, follow the 4 regulative principles, chant Hare Krishna mantra on the streets, try to distribute our books and literature, and specifically, and he's addressing him also in San Francisco, and specifically in San Francisco, you should observe the annual Ratha Yatra festival very gorgeously." And then he says, "I can assure you that if you follow my instructions as above mentioned, there is no doubt about it that through me, my spiritual master, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakura, will be pleased. And through his mercy, Lord Nityananda will be pleased. In this way, Lord Chaitanya and ultimately Radha Krishna will be pleased. And thus, your life will be successful." So I want to add my voice to what Srila Prabhupada is saying there. As we follow these instructions, Guru is pleased. When Guru is pleased, our Srila Prabhupada is pleased. His Guru is pleased. And in this way, continuing up, Lord Nityananda is pleased. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I would add the Panchatattva, they are all pleased. Radha and Krishna are pleased. And in this way, our lives become successful. Hare Krishna. So at this point, I want to ask Indu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
We're happy that you are with us, and we are oops, there's an echo. And we are happy to welcome you into the family of devotees. And I want to ask you, can you tell us what are the 4 regulative principles that you will continue to follow for the rest of your life?
Znači, znači bez toksikacije, no toxication.
No intoxication.
Bez jedenja mesa.
No eating meat.
Bez kockanja, zakon.
No gambling and
bez zakon. No illicit sex.
Yes. Yes, very good. And what is the positive regulation that you will continue to follow for the rest of your life?
16 krugova Mahamantra.
The 16
rounds
yes.
Of Mahamantra. Service to Lord Krishna and Vaishnavas and Srila Prabhupada and his mission.
Very nice. Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So I think you may want to receive a spiritual name, a new spiritual name, shall we say? Yes. You have been known as Indu, and Indu means moon. So your name is now Saradiya-candrika dasi. Saradiya-candrika dasi. She's taking notes. Saradiya, I will explain. Saradiya means related to the season of Sharat. This is the autumn season. And this is the time when Krishna likes to enjoy the rasa. Moon at that time is full, or when the moon is full in the month of Sharat, that's when he has his rasa-lila. So Saradiya means related to or of the season of Sharat. And Chandrika, Chandra means moon, Chandrika means, well, it can mean rays of the moon, little rays of the moon. So it can also refer to Srimati Radharani, who is herself the moon reflecting the rays of brilliance of Krishna's transcendental presence. So is that all right?
It's very, very beautiful. Very beautiful.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
So let's all, you can all unmute yourselves now, and everyone together can say Hari Bol and give your blessings for Saradiya-candrika.
Haribol!
Welcome.
Now she's crying. And let's give a big Haribol also for Divya Desha and Madhavi Kishori, who are going to be receiving the mantras of the second initiation, the Brahma-Gayatri and the Pancharatrika mantras, by which they will receive the adhikar, which especially Madhavi Kishori has been waiting for since she was a little baby to be able to worship Lord Nrsingadev.
Haribol!
Well, it's not quite the same as all of us being all together in the same place and then having kirtan and having a feast. But in any case, we do what we can under the circumstances. And it is said, and we can realize, there are no obstacles in the practice of devotional service. We can always serve the Lord. We may not always be able to serve as we think we would like to, but whenever it appears that there's some obstacle, then immediately the devotee looks, okay, So that's not going to work. Let's see how else we can do something for Krishna. So devotees are flexible. Hare Krishna. So I think we come to a happy conclusion. And we will, excuse me, Divyadesha and Madhava Kishori, you can now proceed with the yagya, and then we'll have to, let's see, now is almost 3. I would say we can aim for 1 hour from now at 4 o'clock, then we can meet and do the needful at that time. Okay?
Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Okay. And there's one, oh, there's lots of messages here. Yeah, there was a question from Pandava about the nectar of immortality. It doesn't seem to be very much of an immortality that they get. No, it's not. It's a relative immortality, certainly. It's, what is it? If it's not one may say, if it's not immortality, then it must be something else. In any case, it's called Amrita. So we may say it's a kind of extended lifespan. As long as the universe is there, perhaps would be the lifespan. But we understand everything in this world is temporary. And even the so-called Amrita of the Devas is not, it's not of interest for devotees. We have another Amrita, which is the real Amrita. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, which is the prayer of service to the Supreme Lord of all nectar, in which we participate by serving the holy name, serving the Vaishnavas, the Vaishnavis, and in this way taking shelter of the Lord's blissfully nectarian lotus feet. Ayi nanda tanuja kinkarang patitang mang vishame bhavam buddho kripaya tava pada pankaja stita duli sadrisham vichintaya. Hare Krishna. I think we can end there unless anyone has a burning final comment or question. I wish you all a wonderful week. And is happy to listen to one lecture by Amarendra Prabhu from Boston about online. He's very expert lecturer, and we're now listening to His Holiness Radhanath Swami speaking pastimes of Nityananda. So that's one consolation we have in these lockdown times is we can all connect through the internet to so many Vaishnavas and hear from them, and we can speak with them. This next week I will be busy. Yeah, Tuesday and Wednesday I'm giving a seminar on deity worship for devotees in Mumbai and Govardhan Eco Village in Pune. And I'll be busy continuing with my writing of an article. And I have to begin marking essays written by my Bhaktivinoda Research Center students. So that's going to keep me busy. Oh, and I will continue with my Bhakti Tattva Sandarbha course. I am a student in a course on Tattva Sandarbha. Okay, so we will end in this way, keeping to our schedule. And I wish you all a wonderful week. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura ki jai, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakura ki jai, Srila Gaura Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaisnava Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur.
Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.